Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Finney recording a lesson, some notes, examples for lesson 3-1, Math 7 at Red Wing High School. This lesson comes from page 164 in your student workbooks. So students, if you do not have your workbook and a pencil out, the purpose of this video is to help you get some additional notes filled in your workbook. So you need to pause the video and get your workbook out and open to page 164 now. Now that we all have our workbooks out and are ready to go, we're going to look at some of these examples for lesson 3-1. So you can see here that when we look at setting up a scenario or an example that deals with proportions, we can set them up in a table form, or we can set them up as fractions and use division to simplify our fraction. We're going to use the same rule we know and love from 5th and 6th grade with fractions. Whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. So just like we adjusted our denominators and numerators for our adding and subtracting fractions, we're going to use that same concept to simplify proportions here. So on the try it problem on the bottom of page 164, Jennifer is a lifeguard at the same pool. She earns $137.25 for 15 hours of lifeguarding. How much does Jennifer earn per hour? So she earns 137.25 in 15 hours. And notice earn per hour. So earn is money, per hour. Those words tell us the order of our fraction. It tells us we want the money on top and the hours in the bottom. And what we want to know is, how did they turn 15 into 1? Well, 15 divided by 15 is 1. And whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. And so if we take 137.25 and divide by 15, so I'm going to pull out my handy calculator and I'm going to do 137.25. Don't forget your decimal point, divided by 15, we find that the top of my adjusted fraction is 915. And so that means that Jennifer earned 915 per hour. Okay. If you haven't written these numbers into this example on your notes, make sure that you pause and do so. And then we're going to move on to page 165, where you'll see another example at the top of page 165 in your student workbooks, where we see he's watching a neighbor's dog. So he provided 128 ounces. Does Brian have enough food to feed the dogs all 7 days? Okay, so Buster, you can see, eats 20.5 in 2 days. And so to get down and figure out how much Buster eats in 1 day, we had to divide by 2. And then we used, similar to when we were finding least common denominators, and we multiplied up to get to the 7 days. So now we're doing some examples that have more than one step all at once. So I'm going to scroll down. Again, I'm going to encourage you to take the time to read examples 2 and 3 that are worked out for you in your workbook, and then write down with me the try it example on the bottom of page 165. I have to move myself so I have room to write. All right, a kitchen sink faucet streams 0.5 gallons of water in 10 seconds. A bathroom sink faucet streams 0.75 gallons of water in 18 seconds. Which faucet will fill a container faster? So if I know that first I need to think of my rate that I want to use, my label. And generally we think of a rate as putting time in the bottom. So gallons per second. We want to know how many gallons does it fill in 1 second. So in the kitchen sink example, I'll just label that example K. It fills 0.5 gallons every 10 seconds. If I want to know how much does it fill in 1 second, I would need to divide by 10. And that means that I need to divide the top by 10 as well. And some of you might know the trick: when you divide by 10, you move your decimal 1 point, or you could put that in your calculator and divide it. So my kitchen sink is filling 0.05 gallons every 1 second. And we want to know which one fills faster. So now let's figure out the bathroom sink. The bathroom sink fills 0.75 every 18 seconds. Again, make sure you stop and pause the video. So now in this example, we need to divide by 18, because 18 divided by 18 is 1. So when I divide 0.75 by 18, now that one I don't have a quick memory trick for, so I'm going to use my calculator. 0.75 divided by 18, I get that the bathroom sink fills 0.04 gallons every second. So in 1 second, my kitchen sink fills faster, which means that the kitchen sink will fill a 3-gallon container faster as well. All right, please make sure you go back and re-watch this if you didn't get all of the notes written in, and make sure you take the time to read the examples as you go.